This is America's day. This is democracy's day.
A new dawn for the United States.
We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges.
Joe Biden takes charge with his first orders as the 46th president, signalling the start of an era of unity. Good afternoon, you're watching 9 News at 5. I'm Monika Kos. Also this hour, a tragic turn after a Perth nursing home scandal as the major crime squad investigates 2 deaths. WA's north on cyclone watch, supermarket shelves stripped and holidaymakers told to leave. Criminal charges at Fremantle's tent city, the disturbing new twist, prompting calls for the camp to be taken down. And a mercy dash under police escort for a Perth Zoo orangutan to a human doctor. Joe Biden has hailed a new dawn for the United States, calling his victory a win for democracy as he was sworn in as the 46th president. In a ceremony studded with tradition and star power, history was made. Kamala Harris, the first female and woman of colour to become vice president. But as the celebration subsides, the hard work begins, healing a divided country and calming the chaos of the last 4 years.
An incredible party at the end of a momentous day. We've seen fireworks here over the National Mall, a star-studded party at the Lincoln Memorial, Katy Perry performing there. The Bidens watching on from the balcony of their new home, the White House. It caps off a momentous day for the Biden family, especially, of course, Joe Biden sworn in at the Capitol building in front of a small crowd, all socially distanced and wearing masks, among them VIPs, dignitaries, former presidents, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, all there to witness Joe Biden's big moment, to unite, to reach out to Americans. And he really did that in his inaugural speech, addressing the challenges this country faces and asking Americans to help him help the country be a better place.
We all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges.
Kamala Harris also making history, sworn in as the first woman and the first woman of colour to become the US Vice President, despite the toned-down ceremony due to COVID. There were some big performances, Lady Gaga with the national anthem, Jennifer Lopez, Garth Brooks. There was plenty of pomp and tradition and ceremony, after which the Bidens made their way to the White House, walking the final steps along Pennsylvania Avenue with their family. There were no crowds, of course, but plenty of media and law enforcement to cheer them on. And it was straight to work for Joe Biden in the Oval Office, signing 17 executive orders, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, halting the building of the border wall, undoing many of the Trump administration policies. And he had the support, an unprecedented show of support and unity from the 3 former presidents who attended his inauguration, all having a chat about the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and wishing him well. We have now received President Biden's schedule for the rest of today. It is busy. He has an intelligence briefing, COVID meetings, announcements. He is straight down to work.
The now former US President Donald Trump is holed up with his family and wife Melania in his Florida resort after skipping today's inauguration. US correspondent Tim Avia is in Palm Beach. Tim, it was quite the welcome for Donald Trump in his adopted home state.
It was, and after several hours on Air Force One flying down here to Palm Beach, Melania Trump actually had a wardrobe change on the plane as if to signal their new life was starting now. After arriving here at Palm Beach Airport, they then jumped in their car and drove several kilometres to Mar-a-Lago. And on the way were those thousands of Donald Trump supporters lining the streets, hoping to get a glimpse of their departing Commander-in-Chief. Donald Trump just as happy to see them pumping his fists and waving to the crowds. But certainly it was a different sort of story earlier in the day when they did leave the White House. Donald Trump holding hands with Melania Trump as they took their last trip over on the South Lawn to Marine One. Donald Trump did stop briefly and address the press, saying that he was saying goodbye, but he hoped it wouldn't be a long-term goodbye, perhaps hinting at that possible run for president in 2024. After leaving the White House, Donald Trump flew via Marine One helicopter to Joint Base Andrews, the airport nearby in Washington, D.C. There he spoke to the crowds that gathered, many of them his family and friends, paying tribute to them, thanking them for their support over the last 4 years, while also taking the chance to talk about his administration's accomplishments in his term.
We've left it all, as the athletes would say, we've left it all in the field. We don't have to come and say, we'll never say in a month when we're sitting in Florida, we're not going to be looking at each other and saying, you know, if we only worked a little bit harder, you can't work harder.
What the future holds for Donald Trump is uncertain, but what we do know is he has that looming a Senate impeachment trial, which will be expected to be held in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Tim. Tim Avia in Florida there. The Prime Minister has congratulated President Biden and requested a phone call sometime soon to discuss the many issues of importance to both Australia and the US.
There's a lot of work for us together, whether it's on climate, on energy, on international security and importantly regional security.
Climate may well prove an uncomfortable topic of conversation. President Biden moving quickly to rejoin the Paris Accord, while Scott Morrison is reluctant to commit to emission targets. There's a disturbing new twist in the case of abuse allegations at a Netherlands nursing home, with a major crime squad called in to investigate 2 deaths. Both elderly men died in the past 24 hours after being at the centre of shocking mistreatment claims. An 86-year-old found unconscious after going missing in extreme heat last month passed away last night. A wheelchair-bound 94-year-old dragged along the floor died this morning. Police are investigating whether the treatment at Regis Aged Care contributed to their deaths. Holidaymakers in WA's north have been told to leave now as a cyclone threatens to make landfall as a Category 2 storm. Michael Stamp is in Port Hedland this afternoon. Michael, how's it looking there?
Monika, no rain just yet, but the winds have definitely increased and they will overnight as well. But the soon-to-be cyclone Lucas is set to miss the Pilbara town. We're on blue alert at the moment, but we are also on the edge of being given the all clear. Residents, though, they're still preparing for dangerous weather given this unpredictable system. The supermarket shelves are emptying and residents were today stocking up just in case. The tropical low is tracking towards the coast and expected to intensify into a tropical cyclone overnight before reaching Category 2 late tomorrow. Beagle Bay to Port Hedland, including Broome, is in the warning zone, while 80 Mile Beach is set to be the hardest hit. Destructive winds of up to 140 kilometres an hour are expected, as well as up to 200 millimetres of rainfall.
Current advice for travellers in the area is to depart in the southerly direction, with Karratha being the preferred point that they stop at.
You can never predict a cyclone. Even when we think we know where it's going to go, they still can surprise us. Please don't drive through flooded waters. We've had that problem before.
Now, the SES are warning residents to prepare by lunchtime tomorrow, and anyone travelling through there needs to act quickly because Great Northern Highway is set to be closed between Port Hedland and close to Broome around tomorrow afternoon as well. Monika?
Thanks, Michael. Keep us posted. Police have linked a shocking New Year's Eve sex attack to Fremantle's Tent City, charging 2 men. It's just one charge from a string of serious allegations against residents from the makeshift camp. Kelly Hayward is there. Kelly, it sparked a war of words between the Premier and Fremantle Mayor.
Monika, it has, and the Premier today labelled what's happening here at the camp in Pioneer Park in Fremantle as horrible, shocking and disturbing, and the police charge sheet proves it. So far, police have been called out 77 times, issued 25 move-on notices, and most disturbingly charged 2 men with sex attacks on 2 girls charged 13 and 14. They also say people, including a police officer, have been beaten and one threatened with a knife, but Mark McGowan says it's the City of Fremantle's responsibility to move them on.
This has come about because the council invited the organisation to set up there for a day or two, and then they've allowed them to continue on now for the best part of a month.
This was never approved by the City of Fremantle, and in fact it's never been supported by them. From day one we've said this needs to wrap up, but this is something that we can only wrap up in collaboration.
And so far, no one is taking responsibility for what should be done with this camp, and there's even a split within the opposition about decisions that need to be made. Monika?
Kelly, thank you. A Perth man abused more than 40 years ago by a WA priest has received a record compensation payment from the Catholic Church. The former altar boy hopes his historic payout encourages others who were abused to come forward.
More than 40 years after he was sexually abused here at the Holy Cross Catholic Church in Hamilton Hill, the victim, now in his 50s, says he's been vindicated after receiving the record payout. Priest Bertram Adderley first abused the former altar boy in the 1970s when he was just 9 years old.
It was our little secret, was his words. And that's why I never said anything.
On another occasion, Adderley took the victim to Swanbourne Nudist Beach before he raped him in his apartment.
I wake up every morning and I see him in my sight. He's in my vision, he's in my mind.
More than a decade after the abuse, the victim was encouraged by his partner to go to police. He discovered Adderley had died in 1983. And authorities told him there was nothing they could do.
I left it. I thought, OK, he's dead. There's not much more I could do. Until I saw the Towards Healing program.
He was paid $50,000 through the Catholic Church's compensation program, but felt compelled by the Royal Commission into Child Sex Abuse to take it further. Taking the church to court in 2018, last week awarded $2.45 million. In 9 News at 6, the Archbishop of Perth's response to the historic ruling.
WA's state election campaign has erupted, with the opposition leader accusing the Labor Party of sabotaging his office. The Premier has hit back, saying there's no evidence and the claims are baseless.
Liberal leader Zac Kirkup is accusing the Labor Party of targeting this campaign office in Falcon after a thief took off with the electrical fuses on Friday. The opposition leader says it was a politically motivated attack and his volunteer staff were plunged into darkness. He thinks his political opponents were behind it and sabotaged his office.
There's undoubtedly a concerted effort politically to attack my office and both of my offices.
Labor was quick to deny the allegations and raised concerns about Mr Kirkup's fitness to be Premier.
Well, it's bizarre and baseless. And I wonder why the Leader of the Opposition would make such claims. This is an opposition leader that would pose a significant risk to Western Australia.
We shouldn't have political candidates, political officers targeted. We've seen how fragile democracies are.
The same office was graffitied last week, so too his electoral office nearby, although there was no political message. Mr Kirkup has now called in police and the State Dignitary Protection Squad to investigate.
Is he paranoid? I don't know. I can't answer those questions. But all I just say is these are made-up things and there's no truth to it.
The Liberal leader is also complaining about online abuse. More on that on the news at 6 o'clock.
Primary school students in Kalgoorlie have been given permission to initiate an almighty explosion, pushing the button to detonate 200 tonnes of explosives at the super pit this afternoon. More than 1 million tonnes of dirt was moved by the blast, part of an expansion of the pit. A Forestdale factory has been left with a $500,000 damage bill after fire tore through this morning. The accidental blaze broke out at a construction supplier warehouse on Hensbrook Loop just after 2 o'clock and took firefighters an hour to control. Tennis world number one Novak Djokovic has surprised fans by coming onto his balcony for a chat. Earlier today, he took to Twitter to justify his list of demands for players quarantining, saying his intentions were good. Meanwhile, other players say they're making the best of the situation.
I have to be careful with what I eat. I have a scale to weigh my food because I don't want to, overdo it. Of course, you get a sore throat from the AC and you feel like you have COVID. It's crazy. I'm trying to find positive things,
No new cases have been linked to the tournament. Perth Zoo has spared no resources while seeking medical treatment for one of its favourite residents. The Sumatran orangutan received a police escort out of the zoo and into a clinic with a specialist doctor who usually treats humans.
Dinar the orangutan is settling back into his home here at Perth Zoo. He left the walls of the CBD precinct for the first time since he arrived here from Toronto 17 years ago. Dinar's keepers had concerns for his eye health, but the extent of his issues couldn't be treated on site.
Dinar looked a bit tired in that eye, and then we noticed a discoloration. And so anything to do with eyes, we do always alert our vets. And they then got some eye specialists on board, and we sent them photos, and they also came into the zoo and visited Dinar, and they could diagnose that there was something wrong and we needed to investigate it further.
So last week, a carefully planned police-escorted trip to the vet saw the 96-kilo primate anaesthetised and driven out to Bayswater. From there, it wasn't just vets that worked on the 33-year-old. An ophthalmologist, who usually reserves his skills for humans, was also on hand.
Luckily, we had a power couple of eye specialists, an animal eye specialist and also her husband, who happens to be a human eye specialist. So we were very fortunate that as a power couple, they could both look at the same time and diagnose Dinar. So we feel like we've ticked all bases.
Now back in his enclosure, the male orangutan is recovering and eating well. At 6, we'll tell you what treatment Dinar is receiving since his journey outside of Perth Zoo.
Elizabeth Creasy has your weather from Optus Stadium this afternoon. Liz, it was another warm and muggy night.
Well, Monica, it was our hottest night in almost 2 weeks, with the temperature only dropping to just a touch below 23 degrees in the early hours of this morning. It's also been a hot afternoon with a top of 34 degrees just before 1 p.m. But it's been a little less humid today than the last few days, and the clouds have cleared away as well. That is thanks to the return of the sea breeze, which picked up around 1:30 this afternoon. Now, we do have another hot day forecast tomorrow before a beautiful cool change over the weekend, so I'll have those details for you a little later. I will also tell you what we are doing down here at Optus Stadium. We've found a fantastic event for the end of the school holidays, and we have some tickets to give away as well, so I'll see you a little later.
Looking forward to it. Time now for a look at today's sport with Paddy Sweeney. Paddy, previous captains are urging Tim Payne to change.
They do, Mon. They've got a little bit of advice, and the two former greats say they want to see a little bit more flair from the Australian skipper. Mark Taylor and Ian Chappell have both backed Tim Payne to remain in the top job, despite the series loss to India. However, the duo are calling on Payne to be a little bit more aggressive and show greater variety on just how to use his bowlers.
We got ourselves into a plan of play and never changed it.
You learn more from your losses than you ever do from your wins, and Tim Payne's a smart guy.
A boost for the Perth Scorchers with Mitch Marsh set to return for tomorrow's Big Bash clash with Hobart. Marsh has missed the past 2 games with a side strain.
He's been batting the last couple of days in the nets, which has been really positive, and I think he did some gym work and some running and all that sort of stuff as well. So I think he's starting to tick all those boxes. As Mitch would tell you, he's always ready to play.
And Paddy, a dream start for Perth Glory.
It certainly was, Mon. It was perfect. They made a statement straight up in their season opener against Adelaide United. Perth finding the back of the net with ease in their 5-3 triumph over Adelaide. Nick D'Agostino with a brace. Coach Richard Garcia believes it's a sign of things to come.
Not only his fitness, his body, he's still a growing guy, and probably needs a little bit more work. Not only in the gym but on the park.
Plenty more sport at 6, Mon, including an apology from our world's best tennis player.
Glory fans certainly hoping it's a sign of things to come. Better things to come. Wall Street surges to record highs as Biden takes the reins as president. What it means for the market here in a moment. Plus, Madrid rocked by a deadly explosion. And a Hollywood star says hasta la vista to COVID-19.
A star-studded Aussie lineup.
Come on, let's go for the money.
And our frontline workers take on the biggest game show on the planet.
$64,000.
Monday, the must-see millionaire special events. The drama.
Please.
The tension.
This is the big question. Take a deep breath.
The edge of your seat excitement.
Yes, it's correct.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Starts Monday, 7:30 on 9.
Let's get to work. James Jacks, will you look at that?
I told you to pay attention to the road.
Clearly this wasn't my fault. Maybe not, you've taken a wrong turn on this one. Your insurance policy is monstrous.
You know, if you had Budget Direct car insurance, you'd get a hire car while yours gets repaired. And you could save hundreds.
Are we there yet?
Not at fault. Get a hire car while yours gets repaired. Just give us the other driver's details. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
You're all invited to Spudshed for my big barbecue sale. We've got crazy cheap prices on steaks, snags, roast, seafood, and all your salads and drinks. You can't beat an Aussie barbecue, and you can't beat Spudshed prices.
Well, the cat's got fleas, it makes you sneeze. The carpet's getting dirty. The kids try out the baby, and the lounge is looking murky. Just because they look clean doesn't mean they are. That's why you need Electro Dry.
Try Electro Dry. Electro Dry.
The Australian Outdoor Living sale is on now. Be quick to secure your stylish and modern outdoor blinds. Entertain all year round with better outdoor protection. Make the right choice with outdoor blinds from Australian Outdoor Living.
It's Junior Hi-Fi's big brand sell-out with prices smashed store-wide. Take $50 off this Nintendo Switch crunch to a ridiculous $3.99. $400 off the Xiaomi electric scooter tossed out for $6.99. And grab $100 off this latest Dyson V10. JB, you've done it again.
Right now, get 50 gigabytes of data for just $35 a month for the first 12 months, plus 3 months of Amazon Prime and Amazon Music Unlimited on us. You rule with Vodafone.
Sonic.
Tomorrow, our vaccination army, the team being mobilised to help speed up the number of Australians getting the jab.
Plus, sorting the gold from the gimmicks. Trevor Long has the tech that can actually help you keep fit.
Oh, really?
I need that. See you from 5:30.
At least 3 people have died and several others injured following an explosion in Madrid. The blast is believed to have been caused by a gas leak in a building in the city centre. An 85-year-old woman who was passing by the building at the time is among those killed. Nearby residents have been evacuated with fears the structure may collapse. A supermarket delivery driver has been rescued after his van was swept off the road by floodwaters in the United Kingdom. The man was spotted sitting on top of the sinking van, shouting for help. Crews have described the mission as challenging. Incredibly, no one was injured, but the driver was taken to hospital as a precaution. While America's attention turned towards the inauguration today, the country is still in the midst of the COVID crisis. One celebrity intent on terminating the virus is Arnold Schwarzenegger, posting a video of himself getting the vaccine.
Put that needle down. All right, I just got my vaccine and I will recommend it to anyone and everyone. Come with me if you want to live.
The actor received the jab at Dodgers Stadium in Los Angeles after it was made available for anyone over the age of 65. There's no doubt he'll be back for the second dose. There are concerns the Pfizer vaccine doesn't protect people as well as expected after preliminary research from Israel showed the first dose led to a 33% reduction in infections. The company had originally spruiked an 89% reduction. Israeli scientists believe that percentage could rise once the younger age groups are included in the data. The Australian share market has surged to an 11th-month high in response to Joe Biden's inauguration. But what will the new president mean for investors going forward? Business reporter Chris Kohler has the details.
Joe Biden was warmly received by investors. In fact, it was the best first day for a new president on the share market since the 1980s, with Wall Street gaining 1.4% to another record high. Australian shares were also pushed higher, now trading at their strongest level since before the market collapsed back in March last year. And they're closing in on record highs too. Global markets continue to thrive in this low interest rate environment, and Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion spending package in the US is also driving confidence. But much of last night's gains were thanks to the tech sector, Netflix in particular. Its share price rocketed 17% after announcing its total subscriber count has now topped an eye-watering 200 million people.
Let's check in with Michael Thompson for a preview of the 6 p.m. Bulletin. Tomo, you have a major exclusive on an aged care abuse scandal.
We do, Mon, and basically we know that there has been allegations of abuse at a nursing home in Nedlands. In the past 24 hours, 2 elderly men have passed away. And tonight, in our 6 o'clock bulletin, we speak to the daughter of one of those men who passed away. Let's just have a listen to what she had to say.
I feel that he could have lived a lot longer, but his life has been robbed. And within a few days, he was gone.
And Mon, the major crime squad has been called in to investigate those 2 deaths. That full story, a Renee Henry exclusive coming up at 6.
Tomo, you've also incredible vision tonight from the eyes of a hoon.
It is. It's something you don't normally see. So this is a hoon who's doing a burnout. It suddenly gets traction that he then charges into a Hamilton Hill home. The other thing here, Mon, this is a very expensive vehicle. This is a Tirana SLR 5000. There's the crash. We'll show you more of those pictures tonight as well. There's the number plate, Addict. That car, I just went through and looked at the value of that car. Some SLR 5000's worth over $160,000. So have a look at these pictures and you can make up your own mind about this particular driver.
What a waste. An extraordinary vision too. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Mom.
When we come back, why WA mothers are more likely to be staying at home than their interstate counterparts, the big change to cricket's Australia Day bonanza, and the surprising items you can clean in the dishwasher.
Living next door to a dump. The Golden Girls waging a neighbourhood war. So we track down Vince the owner. A current affair tonight.
Dive in, break free and get amongst it in the 7-seat Isuzu MUX from just $46,990 drive away. Plus get a free 3-tonne towing pack across the 4x4 range.
Muscle and osteopain can really tie you down. That pain is caused by inflammation. Nurofen helps reduce inflammation and relieve osteo and muscle pain for up to 8 hours. Break free with Nurofen.
Choosing local produce like WA stone fruit is your guarantee of quality and freshness and helps support our local economy. That's why more West Aussies now look for the Buy West Eat Best logo when they go shopping. Authorised by the State Government, Perth.
Can one little light bulb change the world? That depends on how many of us change one little light bulb. IKEA.
Dean, you know how proud I am of you. You deserve your success.
No one deserves this kind of success.
The most powerful weapon is not tanks or artillery. It's finance.
You do not go after a man like Dominic Morgan with a knife or a gun. You go with an army. I'm not the enemy.
It's Rick Hart here, and when my family and friends get together, it's all about creating memorable experiences. The same can be said about Hart & Co. Hart & Co brings together our next-generation kitchen and laundry showroom experience. Immersive cooking demos, signature appliance consultations. You can even get hands-on in our state-of-the-art laundry lab. It's all here waiting for you. Hart & Co is all about the company you enjoy at home. Hart & Co, Osborne Park.
We know that your internet has never been more important. For warming up and winding down. For special moves and special days. When you're working from home or trying to. That's why we've launched our new NBN plan range with better speeds and better value than ever before. Because we are focused on you. We are TPG.
Get your Woolies worth with weekly specials just in time for Australia Day. Like Australian lamb 4-quarter chops. Now just $14 a kilo. Save $3 a kilo.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Hello, Christy here. Well, we still have a broken down bus near Freeway Northbound at Mounts Bay Road. It's off on the right emergency lane and traffic management on site. The traffic on your Freeway Northbound heavy Cranford Avenue into the city and Hutton Street to Erindale. Taking your boat out this summer, relax knowing your boat is covered on land and on the water with RAC Insurance. Call 13 17 03 to get a quote today. More traffic soon.
It's 30 degrees in Perth right now. You're watching 9 News at 5. Thanks for your company this Thursday. WA mothers are more likely to be staying home from work compared to their interstate counterparts due to childcare issues. That's according to the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The CCI released some recommendations to encourage women back into the workforce. And here to take the pulse on that is author and mum Carolee Katsimbarnis and Media Stable Managing Director and Dad Nick Hayes. Good afternoon to you both.
Hello, Mon.
Hello, Mon.
Carolee, the key recommendations for the state government is to subsidise kindy programs in childcare centres like they do in most other states. How would that be received here, do you think? Would it help?
Look, I think anything like this would definitely help, but I think it's also really important to remember that there will always be a cohort of women in certain industries where, unless childcare is available 24/7, it just won't happen. So much childcare seems to be between 9 and 5. What about nurses, doctors, police, media people as well? I mean, our world doesn't go 9 to 5, but I think it's probably a really good step in the right direction.
Nick, part of fixing this gap is supporting businesses to encourage men to do more at home too. What would make it easier for dads?
Look, it's just supporting them and also to being a bit more flexible in the working hours. You know, when you clock in 9 to 5, if you're working from home, you can be just as productive. So even my work crew have got that opportunity to work from home and be parents as well, and encourage more fathers to do it because the kids love it when their dads are far more involved.
They sure do. And once you're home from work, of course, you'll likely need to do some dishes. Choice has revealed that it has a definitive list of what you can and cannot put in your dishwasher. And it turns out you definitely shouldn't chuck your non-stick fry pan in, nor should you put in your kitchen knives. Choice also says no to wooden spoons, chopping boards, but yes to dog toys and hairbrushes. Nick, rubber thongs are also okay for the dishwasher. It's a rather surprising list. What do you make of it?
Well, my rubber thongs could do with a good wash, Mon, so I'm pleased to hear that. I'm going to be doing that this evening. This is a good little list. I went through that list. I reckon I've broken 50% of the rules there, so good to know. I hope my warranty on my dishwasher is still going to last.
I think most families will find the same, and I'm not certain your wife will be too comfortable with the thongs in there along with the dinner plates. Carolee, will you keep all this in mind when you're stacking the dishwasher tonight, or will you continue to break a few rules? You will.
No. It's of course I'll keep it in mind. Yeah, it's great for Lego, but I must say I was amazed to see that the warning, don't put clothes in the dishwasher. It brought back a memory from Seinfeld with Kramer putting his clothes into the oven to get them warm. And I'm thinking, have people lost their common sense as to what they're meant to use a dishwasher for?
Well, how about also removing the dog's toy from the dog before you put it in? Look, at least you can save time though cleaning up by chucking your kitchen sponge in there too, because Choice says that it disinfects and removes odours from the sponge if you wash it in the dishwasher.
But Mum, we all know that Peter really does the dishes anyway and the dishwashing, so I don't know what Carolee's going on about.
Moving on very quickly, Cricket Australia's decided to drop any reference of Australia Day for all games played on January the 26th, public holiday, as part of its reconciliation plan. Now, it certainly feels like momentum is building here, Carolee.
Look, I've got to say, I just think here we go again with the Australia Day, the January the 26th. I would like to see Cricket Australia actually put more effort into ensuring that Indigenous kids get great grassroots cricket opportunities. I mean, how many Aboriginal or Indigenous people play in the Australian Test team? I think that this date thing, this culturally inclusive diversity thing, it is just a politically correct thing. I mean, 1787 was the first fleet. It's 2021. There comes comes a point where we need to just draw a line in the sand and just move on. There's a lot to be proud about with Australia Day.
And the PM, the Prime Minister, he's not happy about the decision. He says that there should be a little more focus on cricket and less on politics. What do you think of the move, Nick?
Yeah, that's a good point. Focus a little bit more on the cricket. But you know what, Mon, the day's going to change. It's going to change eventually because it's not a day that actually fits in with all Australians. But I don't think it's Cricket Australia's right or push to do that. It trivialises it a little bit, but it will change. We've just changed the anthem. We will change the dates, and that's coming.
And
Nick and Carolee, it's been great to have you with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolee.
Thanks, Mon.
Thanks, Mon.
After the break, Elizabeth Creasy has what's on in Perth this weekend. Should Australian billionaires repay JobKeeper payments? And a disaster in slow motion for a vintage Rolls-Royce.
The greatest adventure of all time.
We need to fail down here so we don't fail up there.
Is now an edge of your seat premiere.
What are the chances of not coming back?
Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy. First Man premieres Saturday 8:30 on 9.
Are you looking for a gentle way to moisturise and nourish your skin? Here's why Dove Triple Moisturising Body Wash from Chemist Warehouse is a good choice. Its gentle microbiome formulation contains no sulfates, surfactants or parabens to help skin retain its natural moisture. This gentle approach leaves you with softer, smoother skin. Dove Triple Moisturising Body Wash is just $6.49 from Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Little Bella's home with a newfound friend. Luckily, with PinoClean Laundry Sanitizer, it doesn't matter where that's been. Because unlike detergent alone, which doesn't get rid of all germs, it removes 99.9% of bacteria. It's not clean unless it's PinoClean.
There's only one thing better than a Domino's $5 pizza. Having it delivered to your car for no extra charge. $5 pizzas, bring it in.
What happens to all the dirt on your dishes? It flows in your dishwasher, affecting its cleaning performance. Add Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner, the only one that cleans your dishwasher while it cleans your dishes. Try Finish In-Wash Dishwasher Cleaner today.
1 in every 20 children will experience the death of a parent. Imagine if this happened to your family.
I'm worried that the kids will never be able to speak about it.
I didn't want my eldest thinking he had to be the dad.
At Feel the Magic, we provide support for kids grieving the death of their parent.
It gives you different strategies to learn how to deal with your grief.
Donate as little as your lunch money by heading to feelthemagic.org.au and help grieving kids grow.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with the Archie Fabric Modular Lounge Suite featuring power recliners, storage console and lights for just $2,299. Or the super comfy Gaucho 3-seater fabric sofa with twin powered reclining actions and USB ports, only $1,299. Get a sleek new look with the Gwyn 7-piece dining suite. Huge value at just $999. Plus get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
The sun. It makes our ingredients better. And this tastes better. Actually, sunshine makes everything better. 95% sugar-free. Enjoy the deliciously refreshing taste of Lipton iced tea.
We have a job to do. All of us. To protect what we love. Our team. We know what to do. It's simple. Bat, bowl, Dettol.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones, using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make technology more affordable.
It's really hard to describe what this therapy actually is. So Byron Bay.
Travel Guides Aussie Spectaculars. Starts Australia Day, Tuesday on 9.
It's 5:37 in Perth. You're watching 9 News at 5. Let's check latest headlines now. Joe Biden has been sworn in as the 46th President of the United States in a new era for America. Holidaymakers in WA's north have been told to leave now as a cyclone threatens to make landfall as a Category 2 storm. And a sick Perth Zoo orangutan has received a police escort to the clinic of a specialist doctor who usually treats humans. A handful of big businesses are paying back JobKeeper payments after a bumper earnings season. Toyota set the stage with an $18 million return, while Super Retail Group refunded $1.7 million. So if you don't need a government handout, should you be paying it back? Here to explain is finance expert Michelle Maynard. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Afternoon, Mon.
How is it that these big businesses were able to receive so much JobKeeper if they were doing so well?
So under the original JobKeeper program, which ran from April to September, you only had to meet the qualifying criteria once, and that was a downturn in your turnover of more than 30%. Now, a lot of Australian businesses qualified for that in that March-April period, but then, as you said, a lot of them have had a really bumper remainder of the year. Australians bought cars and caravans, we spent big online, so they've actually seen a huge upswing in their revenue. But that's not how the JobKeeper program was introduced. It was a one qualifying time, and then you remained $1,500 per employee per fortnight until the end of September. So with thousands of employees, a lot of these large corporations have received millions of dollars. But now they're starting to report their earnings, and people are questioning, should they keep that money if they have had such a great year?
But there isn't a legal obligation for the businesses to pay this money back, is there? But is there a moral one?
That is the million-dollar question. There isn't a legal obligation, and a lot of small businesses did question this with me, saying, if I don't show this downturn continually, will the ATO claw it back? And up until the end of September, that wasn't the case. But there is really this pub test. Should these large corporations effectively be taxpayer funded? I think where it's sort of on the nose is where these corporations are starting to pay out million-dollar bonuses to their CEOs and are starting to pay dividends. This is a $50 billion program, JobKeeper, something that we're going to be paying back for many, many years to come. So people are asking those large corporations, do you have a moral responsibility? Should you be funded by the taxpayer when your earnings have increased?
Definitely a discussion topic to have around the water cooler. JobKeeper has now changed. What do businesses have to do to receive the payment from January to March?
So for January to March, they have to show a retest that they re-meet this qualifying criteria of a downturn of 30% in the December quarter. There are 7 alternative tests if you can't meet that first one, but a lot of businesses, especially in WA, aren't meeting that because they have had an upswing in their revenue, which is great, but it means that they're not getting that government funding anymore. So it is about retesting by the end of January, re-enrolling in the program, and therefore they'll get payments through to the end of March, $1,000 per fortnight for employees who work more than 20 hours, $650 per fortnight for those who worked less.
And Michelle, JobKeeper does end on the 28th of March. There are calls for the government to extend it, especially for sectors that are hard hit like tourism and hospitality. Will they extend it further, do you think?
Scott Morrison is saying a hard flat no, they're not going to extend it, but then he does say they will reassess come the end of March. The JobMaker hiring credit has been introduced as a replacement of JobKeeper, but that's more tailored for employees 16 to 35. So we'll see what happens once the end of March happens and how businesses in Australia go. I think it depends on how COVID goes. If the economy is booming, which we've had a return to a great economy, hopefully no more government funding is needed.
Michelle, we'll leave it there. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mon.
We are going to see what's on in Perth now with Elizabeth Creasy this afternoon. Liz, you've got the need for speed.
Well, Monica, it is time to strap on your helmet and hit the racetrack down here at Optus Stadium, because Stadium Park Karts has been so popular that it has now been extended until the end of March. So Andrew Freeman from the Kart Centre joins us now. Andrew, tell us just how fast do these little karts go?
Liz, they go quite quick, up to 60 kilometres an hour. It's a lot of fun out there.
And so how old do you have to be to take part, seeing as they go so quick?
We have no age limit, just a height restriction, 140 centimetres to race by yourself, or 110 to go on the double kart that we're sitting in now.
Okay, so if Mum and Dad are watching at home this afternoon, they think this looks like a bit of fun for their kids, how much is it going to cost them to come down and give it a go?
It's $60 for one 10-minute race, 100 for 2 and 140 for 3.
Okay, not too bad at all. Thank you so much, Andrew.
No worries at all.
Now, we are going to be giving away 2 double passes a little later this afternoon, but first we're going to take a look at what's on in Perth this weekend, and it looks like the Australia Day celebrations are kicking off nice and early this year, with the court launching its Season Sessions Day party on Saturday. But if you need some more kid-friendly options for the end of the school holidays, you can meet up with Bluey and Bingo at Karrinyup Shopping Centre. Bluey and his sister will be hanging out at the centre until Sunday. And if you want a night of cooking this weekend, why not head down to dinner at dusk at Point Walter this Sunday. There's food trucks, live music and plenty of room for the kids to run around. It kicks off at 4:30 in the afternoon. Now, if you do want to go into the running to win one of those 2 double passes we have up for grabs this afternoon, all you have to do is email us at perthafternoons@9.com.au. But Monica, I think this one is going to be very popular.
They go quite fast, those carts. Thanks, Liz. How to prevent separation anxiety in your pet. Expert tips and tricks to reduce stress next. The moment a vintage Rolls-Royce rolls right into a family home. And meet Australia's lunchbox dad with the recipe for affordable school lunches.
Her destiny.
Chasing down a 24th Grand Slam title is her ultimate ambition.
Is to be the greatest of all time. All Serena needs is to win
What a shot!
the Australian Open.
You will not see better.
If you've been injured and can't work, your normal life and income can suddenly stop. Check if you have an insurance claim through your super online in minutes, so you can start again. With Slater and Gordon, tomorrow starts today.
At Coles, you can lower the cost of your Aussie barbecues with delicious 100% Aussie Coles beef quick cook porterhouse steaks or Coles brand beef and thyme burgers. Any 2 packs for just $12. Coles, value the Australian way.
Audible is excellent for unwinding in bed with a cuppa.
Doesn't smell like a cup of tea.
Well, it's not tea. It's hard tea. What are you, the tea police? Download the Audible app and start listening today.
Seeing a sign like this might mean a few delays. But it's also a sign of great things to come, like more trains with MetroNet and a smoother run on our roads. Search Building for Tomorrow to see what it means for you.
1 in every 20 children will experience the death of a parent. Imagine if this happened to your family.
I'm worried that the kids will never be able to speak about it.
I didn't want my eldest thinking he had to be the dad.
At Feel the Magic, we provide support for kids grieving the death of their parent.
It gives you different strategies to learn how to deal with your grief.
Donate as little as your lunch money by heading to feelthemagic.org.au and help grieving kids grow.
Can I help you, mate?
Nice truck.
The new Ford Ranger FX4 Max.
Oh no, it's the boss. Why did you agree to umpire the annual office cricket match? Oh, that's out. So what's the plan, champ? Are you going to be a yes man or do the right thing? Nice. 3 times the protection for those high-pressure moments. Rexona Clinical.
The world is an amazing place and we'll show you the best of it.
And that's simply something you don't see every day.
Great Getaways, tonight on 9.
Hello,
Christy here. Well, we still have a broken down bus on your freeway northbound at Mounts Bay Road in the right emergency lane. Traffic on your freeway northbound slow from Canning Highway into the city and Hutton to Reed. Your freeway southbound Vincent to Mill Point and Road to Rowley. Taking your boat out this summer, relax knowing your boat is covered on land and on the water with RAC Insurance. Call 13 1703 to get a quote today. More traffic tomorrow.
An elderly man's remarkably walked away unharmed after ploughing his vintage car into his neighbour's home. The 84-year-old accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake on his Rolls Royce, instead rolling straight into the garage. The car disappeared as it punched through the back wall in a cloud of smoke. The coronavirus pandemic created a pet boom, but as families are settling into the new normal, many of our furry friends are spending more time alone. So what happens to our animals' feelings when their humans return to their regular routine? For some advice, here is dog training expert Kathy Coppolis-McLeod. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, Monica.
How do you manage that return to work for pets that have known nothing but the company of their owner?
And hasn't that been the case last year? The best thing to do is, knowing that life will get back to some normality, is already to start cutting off that love meter with the dog a little bit. Not too much, but enough so that it forms some sort of sense of reality. Therefore, not letting it follow you around in every room. Letting it be outside so it's got a nice balance between outside and time alone. Going to the toilet on your own without having the dog there, which is a common one. Having a shower without having the dog in the shower with you. Making the bed without the dog and getting dressed, being in there. So just encouraging some independence.
Some of those sound a little extreme, but that's the norm?
This is the norm. The loo dogs, as I call them in the industry, many of my clients will have their dogs in the toilet with them, and the dogs wouldn't have it any other way. But just stopping something, as weird as it might sound, just one thing, as closing the door and then appearing aloof, you know, as if it's no big deal, because these dogs will be hanging out as if you've been gone for about 2 hours. So just encouraging not following as well, so telling them that they're good for nothing. So idleness is so important, it's so key when they normally would follow you around, but they've chosen to opt for staying put.
What indications of anxiety should you be keeping an eye on?
So there's some not so obvious ones, like perhaps the quiet dogs that they might tongue flick a little bit, there might be some yawning before you leave, and then the obvious signs where the dogs are pacing, they might be salivating, there's vocalisations, and then there's quite extreme, if that wasn't already, where they can increase that by just getting so stressed and hypervigilant that it's a no-brainer that you've got trouble on your hands before you've even left.
Kathy, what are some quick tips to create a positive association with alone time then?
Alone time, using food is a terrific one. So creating a great association with food when you're home with the dog outside, letting it know that it gets more attention with your voice. So preferably using your voice over patting for when it's not following you. You know, having it settle in its spot and it gets its attention there, rather than for every time it follows you, we're telling it to you know, get back. So it's always nice to identify all the good things that your dog does and make it a positive association when it's outside in the backyard.
So you can teach an old dog new tricks, and with kids soon heading back to school, it seems like now is a good time to start. Thank you very much for the tips, Kathy.
My pleasure. Thanks, Monica.
It is the bane of many parents' existence what to put in the kids' lunchboxes as a new school year looms. A Melbourne dad might just have the answers, creating a social media storm with his inventive creations.
What to pack in the modern day lunchbox? School lunches will never be boring again, thanks to Dad, George Georgievsky, the construction project manager, a social media star, with 143,000 followers on his school lunchbox Instagram account.
I started getting creative with food. I was inspired by adult food.
Coming up with things like the dumpling sandwich, the springwich or spring roll, and bread ravioli. His daughter's the envy of the schoolyard.
Some of my friends try to take some, and some asked to trade food a lot.
George has 3 top tips for new school year lunchboxes. The first, start using the lunchbox at home.
And by using it at home, they get familiar with eating out of it.
2, his 5 rule, pack 2 fruit and 3 veg.
Like a couple of cherry tomatoes, a couple of cubes of carrot, and a little mini cucumber.
Rounding out the list, a rainbow of colour and creativity.
Use fresh produce as much as possible and you'll get the beautiful bright colours.
George hopes to inspire other parents, especially dads. So there you have it. Little lunch and big lunch has never looked or tasted so good. Things sure have changed since my time at school, when the tuck shop delicacy was a sausage roll. in a roll. Alan Ruskell, 9 News.
Michael Thompson is standing by with the top stories in 9 News at 6 o'clock. Then how Optus Stadium has been transformed with 5G technology. And Elizabeth Creasy has your weather live from Optus Stadium.
Thanks, Monica. We've got another hot day on the way tomorrow before a beautiful mild weekend to look forward to. I'll have all your weather details very soon.
The ghosts of presidents past, Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, the Bushes, and who could forget President Trump?
Fake news.
A current affair.
All urgencies are emergencies. GP Urgent Care. To book an appointment for urgent medical needs, search GP Urgent Care. Authorised by the State Government, Perth.
We're shaking things up, WA. With Containers for Change, you get 10 cents for every eligible drink container at your local refund point. To find out where to cash in, visit containersforchange.com.au.
The new Red Dot Home is now the biggest of all, and it's open now. With a bigger range of storage, party supplies, pet accessories, and arts and crafts. You need to see it to believe it. Located on the corner of Clayton and Lloyd Street in Midland.
Super sale this Saturday only at Super Cheap Auto. There's 30% off all disc brake pads, SCA reverse cameras and Gator dash cams, plus 30% off all engine oils, including motorcycle, and loads more.
A lot of us are spending more time at home.
Ow.
Using a lot more electricity and internet. Unfortunately, iSelect can't help with your naked partner walking past your big presentation. But we could help shrink those household bills. Now's the time to compare, select and save with iSelect on 13 19 20.
This weather report brought to you by My Bushfire Plan. How fireproof is your plan?
Welcome back. You're watching 9 News at 5. Let's bring in Michael Thompson now for a look at what's in the news at 6.
Thanks, Monica. Tonight on 9 News, a major exclusive on an unfolding abuse scandal at a Netherlands nursing home. 2 men have now died and police called in tonight an exclusive interview with a heartbroken daughter of one of the seniors. Plus what Joe Biden did on his first day as president and look back at the bizarre presidency of Donald Trump. A twin's tribute to his brother allegedly murdered by a family member. And this is Hoon Eye View. See how a vintage Tirana ended up inside a southern suburbs lounge room. That's 9 News coming up very soon on.
See you then. Thanks, Michael. Thanks. The future of live sport has never been better with 5G switched on today at Optus Stadium. Fans could soon be treated to a full virtual reality experience. The network saying the possibilities are endless.
Imagine being able to watch a football game from the boundary line within touching distance of the league's biggest names, but you're actually sitting up in the stands. Well, it's about to become a reality thanks to virtual reality.
It's the imagination of people creating opportunities, I think, that's exciting.
Optus Stadium today switching on 5G to transform the fan experience. From corporate boxes, function rooms, all seats and even the playing surface.
It gives our hirers, whether it be AFL or cricket, a concert promoter, endless opportunities to use their imagination to work out ways they can get the fans involved.
From scanning faces instead of tickets and ordering food and drinks from the comfort of your seat, the stadium is fast forwarding into the future and the possibilities are endless.
If you're on a tour in the middle of the afternoon and you don't know what it's like to be here for a full game, and you can be standing on the boundary line, you can watch the players run out past you onto the field. If you're looking to buy a ticket, for example, and you're looking at the location, you can go right to the location of that seat and then look around you to see what the view is.
I may look like I'm sitting here alone at an empty Optus Stadium, but from what I can see, I'm actually watching a light show. But fans who don't have a 5G Optus phone could be waiting a while to join the fun.
And once the 5G phones become much more popular around the country, that will change.
Olivia Donaldson, 9 News.
A planned Wiggles tour of New Zealand has been thrown into jeopardy over a failure to secure quarantine places. The Wiggles are set to begin their 20-show tour on March 19 and it's outraged thousands of parents. It'll be up to immigration officials to decide whether they're granted a border exemption. Talk about a rough day. This poor pooch was spotted by passers-by in Shanghai after it managed to get its head stuck in a gate. The fire department launching a careful rescue operation to free the dog, giving it a new leash on life. A very special wombat has been given a furry farewell from the Australian Reptile Park in New South Wales. Arriving into the park's care at the peak of the coronavirus pandemic, Hope became a viral sensation, helping raise awareness for endangered wildlife. She'll stay in a wombat sanctuary before being released into the bush. Time for the forecast now with Elizabeth Creasy live from Optus Stadium.
Thanks, Monica. We're having a great time down here at the go-kart track this afternoon, so don't forget we are giving away those 2 double passes today to some lucky winners. But turning to Perth's weather now, and it has been a return of hot, dry conditions for the city today, with a top of almost 35 degrees this afternoon. On the satellite, though, there's not 1 but 2 tropical lows in our northern waters at the moment. The first low is situated near the Cocos Islands and is expected to develop into a Category 1 cyclone early tomorrow. The other is heading towards the mainland and is forecast to develop into a Category 2 system by Saturday morning. Back in Perth, we're in for another hot day in the city tomorrow, 21 to 36 degrees. But we have a very welcome cool change on the way this weekend, a maximum of 27 on Saturday and 25 on Sunday, with temperatures remaining mild into the high 20s for most of next week as well. But before we go, we do have to say a big congratulations to June and Graham Henson, who are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary this afternoon. The Bustleton couple have 4 daughters, 13 grandkids and 5 great-grandkids. What a wonderful milestone. Monica?
Liz, it certainly is. And that is the program this hour. Time now for 9 News at 6 live right now.
Tonight, a new era for the United States. Joe Biden sworn in as the 46th president, and Inauguration Day with star power and extreme security. The president wasting no time overturning some of Donald Trump's signature policies. Plus, a Perth nursing home scandal turned tragic. 2 seniors dead, families asking why.
I feel that his life has been robbed.
Sex attacks, robberies, beatings, dozens of charges from a Fremantle homeless camp. But tonight, it isn't being moved on. The opposition leader blaming Labor for vandalism at his office. And a mercy dash for Perth Zoo orangutan.
This is 9 News Perth with Michael Thompson.
Good evening. Joe Biden says democracy has prevailed as he was sworn in as